Hello, my name is David Hopper, and we are continuing our series on team performance coaching, including great leaders in our society who are doing it, who are living it out right where they work. And today I have the pleasure of having Rick Lopez with me, and he has been part of the Placentia Unified School District for the last 25 years. 25 years in a major role, including the assistant superintendent right now, and also the adjunct professor at Hope International University. It's our pleasure to have you today.
Thank you very much.
When I was first told about you, I was told about your incredible onboarding strategies. And they said, if you want to talk to somebody who is great at bringing employees on and to be a part of an organization, talk to Rick Lopez.
That was very kind of you.
So let me just start out right out of the gate with, what would you say onboarding is, in case someone doesn't know what we're even talking about?
Yeah, it primarily is referred to as a means of bringing people into an organization. So there's a lot of kind of nuts and bolts logistical aspects to it, but from those who I've watched and learned and been mentored by, it's so much more. And I think that's why it has been a successful process in our school district. And really when I speak to that, it's about viewing it as something much larger than bringing people into the organization. It's really every person that we bring in is an opportunity for our organization to reflect on who we are, what we stand for, what are our vision, mission, core values, and how we have found someone who is a great match for that organization, who aligns with those things and is going to make us better. And so that's really how we view the overarching thing. And then there's a lot of things that we do to support the employee once they've been selected.
The first time I heard the term onboarding was actually with Disney. And I read this book called The Disney Way, and it was all about the way they spend like so much time onboarding. And then I was surprised at how many companies do not have an onboarding process, and they just kind of throw their employee in, assume they'll know and figure it all out as they go, and you lose probably so much productivity right off the bat. How did you learn this importance of onboarding, and what would you suggest to those leaders watching this, some of those first strategies to use to implement onboarding?
I think to begin with, looking at that lens, looking at it through who you are as an organization, what is your culture, and having clarity as to how this person coming in is going to strengthen it. It should be reflected in everything that they did, including the application process, the interview process. Those are all chance for you to reveal your heart to people who are pursuing your organization, how they are treated, the timeliness in getting back to them, being grateful that they've taken interest to pursue you as an organization. So that all foreshadows what ultimately becomes, once they've been offered a position, to come in. And so you already have a great running start, is really our approach with that. So for us, it varies. We have lots of different positions within an organization as large as ours. So we tailor it a little bit by position, but some examples of things through the gate would include the night that our board approves their position to be hired, and someone from my department makes a personal phone call to them that night to congratulate them, to let them know that the board approved their position, and to formally welcome them now that it's official that they're going to be with us. And so that's really a great way to start and to welcome them. Once they come in, we do a lot more by way of orientation. We have specialized orientations that happen depending on the nature and the type of job that we do. Our board is very much involved in the process as well, especially with our leadership team. We do a new manager's breakfast for any new leaders coming into our district. We spend a whole morning with them, have breakfast together, and really paint a picture and casting a vision for our district and where we're going. And we're so grateful for our board and their role in being there with our leadership team and setting the direction for that.
I love the first thing that you said when you said that through the process of just the interview. I know for myself, maybe it's church work or whatever, but I have been through an interview and then waited months before I heard anything back. And you don't even know if they've hired someone, you don't know the process, so I love that.
Yeah, I've had amazing mentors, Dr. Domini being one of them, our current superintendent, Dr. Pucko, is just a master in this area. I learn from him every day. But it's really, fortunately, with the leadership that we've had over years and years, including our board, it's really been woven into the culture. And so it's almost an expectation as people come in that not only you're going to do it, but hopefully you're going to add to it and enhance it.
Was this already implemented before you, or is this something you implemented and you've seen a difference because of this?
Yeah, some of the things have been in place, but there's been other things that we've added. You think about when we hire a new teacher, they've gone through a lot of schooling. They've done student teaching where they've basically been doing the job but not getting paid as they've been learning the craft in that way. And when they get to finally get that job offer and sign their contract, so we've done things where we do a little ceremony, we ring a bell, we take a picture of them signing their contract that they then get to go and show. Those are moments to celebrate.
Yeah.
Chip and Dan Heath have a book called The Power of Moments, and I recommend it really to anyone who may be in leadership roles. And I'm interested in this, but it's these intentional things that you can do to create powerful, memorable moments for people that connect them.
I agree. I love that book. I love Made to Stick. Also a great book if you're looking for some leadership books on the subjects of moments. And I noticed you have this coin. Is that something else you use as a moment?
It is. Yeah, we have a challenge coin that we produce in our district, and it has our district's core values on it. And it also has our focus areas, and it's really all under the theme of the PYLUSD advantage. We really do believe that there is an advantage for our employees in working in our district and the way that we support and invest in them, for our students and the type of educational experience that we provide, and for our families and communities. And so with this, I keep one in my pocket at all times, and it's just a reminder to me and our employees as we hand these out of filtering our decision making through our core values and reminding us of our why and what it is that we're doing. So there's a number of things that we do to help reinforce the culture of who we want to be as an organization.
It definitely shows. My kids, by the way, are in your district.
Okay.
So I have one at Travis Ranch, and the other one's at Travis Ranch, the junior high part, and then my daughter's at Yorba High School. And every Friday we get the good news report. I just spoke at the career day.
Oh, yes.
So I see the values played out in everything that you do. And it has to be, I assume, a lot of the onboarding technique that you're using to bring in the best of the best teachers. So what's some of like the qualities you look for as you're onboarding someone, and some of the red flags that may be there as well?
So that's a great question, and it's really one of the most important things that we do as an organization is be very selective and choosy about who comes in. Patrick Lencioni is another great author on leadership, and he has a book called The Ideal Team Player. And we've adopted a number of things that are within that book, and there's 3 attributes that he identifies, and it's that they're humble, that they're hungry, and they're smart. And when we talk about those 3 things, the humility is just understanding that we're all dependent upon one another, that none of us are going to be able to do our job unless we recognize that it isn't about us and that it's about what we're going to be able to do together. The hungry part is not an appetite thing. It's just about a self-starter, motivated. It's not something that we're going to have to be on them all the time about getting it done. They're innovative. They've got that initiative. And the smart, well, obviously being in education, we value book smarts, but it's really what the book talks more about is the people smarts, or the ability to interact and to relate to one another and to work collaboratively with their students and with their families. So those are certainly 3 attributes that you will see intentional questions that have been developed and woven into every interview, whether you're applying to be a special education aide or a custodian or a principal or a district office director. There are elements of those in all of our questions. We also use our core values, excellence, integrity, innovation, and collaboration are our 4 core values. So there's questions that are specifically targeting those that we look to flesh out. Facilitating interviews, we have a slide that is a visual of this. The first filter, as we're going to ask questions, but the first filter we're looking through, are they a match for our mission, vision, and core values? If they're not, we're not interested. They don't. Right. It doesn't matter. If we believe that they have that, do we also feel that they have the attributes of the ideal team player? And then if that's true, then we look further at how they responded to questions, and then the same thing with the reference checks. Because really, I don't want to downplay the importance of their academic background, especially in a school organization, a school district. But they don't even get to the interview if they don't have the proper credentials and all of those things on paper. And And so
Right.
we know that they have that background. They have a proper credential, but who they are as a person. How are they going to treat my kids? I worked at school sites for a long time. You know, you referenced 25 years in the same school district. It's my home. My own child attends as well, and so who people are that we're going to put in front of people's treasures. Your kids are in our district. You give us your treasure every day, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
Every day, people give me and our organization the most precious thing in this world to them.
Right.
So what are we doing with it? Who are we going to have with them? And that's all this whole process. So it's I think it's deserved of the intentional efforts and just understanding the weight and the gravity of that.
I want to come back to that precious treasure question in just a moment, but before I go there, one of the things I would love to hear, Rick, is just a big win. When did you see it all play out, the whole onboarding thing play out, and you get to watch that work?
There's a number of day-to-day things, but when I think of big markers that speak to the efforts, the intentional efforts, as you phrased it, it's been when we have been recognized as an Orange County top workplace by the Orange County Register. And we just received word this week that we're recipients of it for the 3rd year in a row.
Oh, congratulations.
And so, there's many high-level organizations within the county, and to be ranked among them as one of the top workplaces really speaks to a lot of collective efforts, the talent that exists within our district. And so I feel like we got to keep that momentum moving, and making sure that we're hiring good people who are going to continue to build upon that. And it's quite an honor to be named in that way. It reflects the work.
Yes. Let me ask you this. So a lot of people watching this, mission, core values, strategies. Every company has those. It's always on their website. They usually have banners out in their parking lot. You know, it's kind of a big thing. What people are really bad at is this onboarding. And I'm just trying to figure out what's the miss there where people are not valuing onboarding more. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it is a miss. There's other strategies that we do. I'd mentioned some of those things, the orientation, the welcoming. We partner up our new employees, like our principals, to cite an example. They have a principal partner. Anyone new, whether sometimes we hire a principal and they have a lot of experience as a principal, but not in our district.
Right.
And so while they may have, they were selected because they were an effective leader elsewhere, we want to make sure that they embrace what we've been talking about, the core values and all that. So they're still assigned a more veteran, seasoned principal to partner up with them. And there's formal meetings with them that are scheduled monthly. And then there's a lot of informal things along the way. The phone call, at the end of the day, hey, I really struggle. I'm not sure. Looking ahead at tomorrow, I don't know how I want to navigate this situation. So they're not on an island. It's not that scenario of you're hired, pushed out, and good luck.
Right.
So they're assigned a partner and a mentor.
So they have a partner. You've talked about moments. So you have those special moments. Yes. What else have I missed?
Yeah. We connect them back all the time to core values. I'm trying to think of other ways that we check out. Everyone gets a visit from a cabinet level leader at our district office on the first day of school.
Oh, okay.
We go out and we check on them. And then at the end of the day, that evening, we each make a phone call to them to ensure that everything went well. Do they need anything? How can we be a support? So it's just, those are symbolic of things that they'll experience along the way.
It's a big deal because a lot of companies, you interview with all their high-level leaders, and then you're put under someone and you never see those people again.
Yeah.
And that's part of the miss.
Yeah. And it's helpful for us. It helps keep us, in tune with what's going on, out at the school sites and in individual classrooms and out on the field with our grounds people and our custodians and, all of those types of things. Our human resources motto is integrate, elevate, celebrate. Those 3 words. And so
say it again.
Integrate, elevate, celebrate. And
okay.
the lion's share of all that we do fits under one of those 3 umbrellas. So integrate is everything that we're talking about, this whole how we recruit, how we facilitate interviews, how we onboard, how we bring people in. Once they're ours, my job and our district's job collectively is how do we elevate? How do we provide professional development? How do we do these principal partner things, for example? How do we strengthen them in their current role? Elevate also can translate into promotional opportunities. Our organization, being as large as we are, is rich with opportunities. I mentioned
I like that.
spent 25 years
Yeah.
in the school district. I started as a campus supervisor at Travis Ranch while I
And
worked
so
my
your
way through
people-
college.
They know kind of each step.
And so I refer to our district as the land of opportunity. So Elevate is not just about, it can be growing where you currently are and strengthening your skills there, but it also has meant promotional opportunities within the organization. And so that's something that we do. And then Celebrate was the last part of the motto, and that's just how we recognize our people, how we celebrate our employees of the year, how we honor our retirees after years of dedicated service, milestone years of service. And we have core value cards that I keep in my pocket that anytime we see an employee who's living out one of our core values, collaboration, there's a spot for me to check that box, write a little note about what I saw, and leave it for them just to reinforce it isn't just something that's on a banner somewhere.
Right.
It's that we've seen you living it out, and we appreciate you doing that.
That's big. It sounds like over and over you have these little tools to represent exactly what you're saying, which seems to be very valuable, and that's a miss that a lot of companies do not have these tools in which they're using. The one that you just said, when you come into a company, you know exactly how you can move up the company. There's so many companies where they feel like I'm just stuck, and the only way to move is to switch to another company. You know, does that make sense?
No, it does.
And I like that you are. Is it somewhere already written where people know how they can move up?
We have a number of different pathways, and it isn't just for administrators. We have an aspiring leaders program, and so that is for people who want to become future managers. So whether that's on the classified side or assistant principal. And so we have a new cohort every year. It's a 2-year program, and we invest heavily in them. And then every time I have an opening, we have a rich pool, to draw from. And sometimes we bring people with outside experience because we're looking for something, different. But we always have that pool, and we've gone through it. I attended that program, and personally have benefited from that. We have a teacher leadership seminar where we invest in our teachers and equip them with leadership skills. And we also have an identical program for our classified employees. So our first one for the year actually starts this next week. So in there you're going to have special ed aides and clerks and secretaries and custodians, and all of whom are going to be invested in their leadership skills with the hopes of being able to lead from the seat that they're in, but it may also translate into future opportunities for them down the road.
That sounds great. And it has really shown in the product that you're putting out there. And getting back to the precious treasures that we're leaving with you, let me ask you a question. You're a man of faith, and how do you live out your faith in the workplace? So someone who, let's say, they follow God and they want to follow God with their life, and they are in the regular workforce in which you are not really able to say stuff like that. How do you live your faith in your workplace?
I think it's really just how you just live, who you are. And some of it is by number of things, I make my mistakes along the way, and then owning that and just trying to be as open and honest as I can with that. But it's how you treat people and how you lead, servant-based leadership, and that's the style and the approach. My job isn't about my title, it's about what responsibility and what's been put in my care, and how can I use that to serve those who I'm leading, and ultimately, the most importantly, our students. Connecting back to that. It's just how the decisions that we make, when it's filtered through, how we treat one another, try to live your life that way. So.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. What I hear from you is it's not just the children, although that's incredibly important, obviously, but you're treating people who work for you as also children that God has created, or the blessings that God has brought. You're living out a care over your employees just as much as the product, if you will, putting a lot of companies into that product form. Yours happens to be people, but you're caring about the product as much as you are the employees, and vice versa.
Called to love them all.
Yes.
Every one of them. I do. I have been treated that way. And like I said, so many mentors along that 25-year journey who invested in me, and to now be in a position where I can pay that forward and again care for our people who are going to care for our kids. I miss being able to do that directly. For many years I was at a school site. I had my kids when I was a counselor. I had 500-600 kids that I was in charge of and looking after. And I was principal of a high school with 2,800 kids. And, I'm not at the site anymore. As much as I go out to visit and see them, that it's different. And so really my work now is, who am I bringing in who are going to be the one taking care of our kids? And I take that very, very seriously.
Well, I appreciate it. As a parent of someone in your district, I really appreciate it, and it shows in everything you guys do. This has been Rick Lopez, Team Performance Coaching. Continue to live out your faith in the workplace. Continue to try and care and look beyond just the normal leadership skills. And in this particular case, on board with intention, actual intention to gain and be the best you can be in your workplace. Thank you for watching.